Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you here today, episode 2543 of the Cabral Concept. This is our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend, picking right back up where we left off yesterday, answering your questions, our community's questions, each and every Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully you're tuning in live on Sunday when this goes live, and I'm excited to have you. So thanks so much. Without further ado, we're going to dive right into the questions. We all know why we are here. So I'm opening up that big Ask Cabral document, and let's go. First question I see is from Megan. Megan says, hi, I've been wrestling with the way we eat now and how people have eaten for years. Why do we now survive on milked nuts and oats instead of regular milk? Why do we use powders and substitutions instead of homemade cheese and bread and butter? I just don't understand how for so many years that was a staple food, and now all of a sudden we're allergic and we're all avoiding, including my 5-year-old son who's allergic to dairy. As a family, we are reading Little House on the Prairie where they talk about having milk and cheese and butter, and it seems like our eating now is so different and complicated. I guess that's a long-winded question. Why? Why is it so different now? Even if I get raw milk from a good farm, my son gets sick, or homemade sourdough bread. Okay, yeah, happy to answer this. And I actually just did a podcast not too long ago. I know you wrote in at the end of October, and of course, you know, it's 3 months later because that's just how long it takes to get to everyone's questions in the queue. But it was called, let's see, something like These Aren't Your Grandparents. Yeah, right here. So episode 2510. I'm sure you probably tuned in already to it, but these aren't your grandparents' foods. And here's the thing. Since the 1960s, all these so-called foods that we're eating are no longer the same foods as they were before. So there's no way that in the 1800s that you're consuming all of the glyphosate and bug spray, pesticides, herbicides that are on these foods, fruits, vegetables, breads, etc. The cows and the milk that you were drinking definitely did not have all of the antibiotics. They didn't have all of the estrogen. They didn't have all, meaning like estrogen is literally given to cows to make them grow. They did not have all of the recombinant bovine growth hormone, and they were grazed on grass. And so that's a big difference. Plus, the majority of the world does not drink cow's milk, nor has it ever consumed cow's milk except for certain populations. The majority of the world subsists on other types of milk, such as sheep or goat being the primary, even yak, etc. I've done podcasts before where it was a really old podcast called Dairy is Not a Health Food, meaning cow's milk is not a health food. It's not. It is literally homogenized, hormone-filled, bacteria-related, although they kill that, of course, with the homogenization and pasteurization, but it's not natural by any stretch of the imagination. And the protein molecules are much larger, which is why people have a greater reaction to it. So in our practice, we've been testing this for a long, long time. And that's why we run the IgG food sensitivity test. You can find that at stephencabral.com/labs. You can run it right at home. And yeah, it's a huge issue for eczema, for skin issues, autoimmune, etc. Now, in terms of like bread, okay, and there's really nothing even wrong with butter. It's just that butter's just been like overdone lately. It's like 6 years ago, 10 years ago, people putting a full stick of butter in coffee. It's absurd, right? Like if a little butter is okay, doesn't mean a lot's better. And about bread, okay, well, let's look back. All right, bread. There's a lot of people, and I don't disagree with this, saying that bread has actually made us less healthy as humans. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. But let's look back at like bread that was made back in the day. Or are you talking about stone ground? You're talking about coming from actual like rye, wheat berries, barley, like real grains, and not having the preservatives added to it. So you know if you make homemade bread, that's stale in what? A couple days maximum, right? Bread now lasts for how long? A couple weeks? So you're getting all the preservatives with it. So we have to understand is that one is just because we have subsisted on it doesn't mean it's the best food possible. And I'm also not saying that, you know, milked nuts and oats are the best things, you know, possible either. The fresher the better, the closer to nature, the better for sure. And then some things, you know, are just more convenient. So like if you're using a protein-based powder, I have no problem with that. And the reason is that for most people, the alternative is this, a breakfast bar that it's unnatural with all sorts of preservatives, or it's like a muffin or cereal or whatever it might be. And so, I'm just looking to say, how can we mix that with frozen fruit or fresh fruit or whatever you're looking to do, oatmeal, whatever it might be. So again, there's different ways of looking at it, but I think you get my gist is that, sure, if you can get like raw goat's milk or raw, and again, I have to give you my disclaimer now. I'm not giving you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis, but certainly that's going to be how it used to be done way back in the day, right? So now you get the enzymes, you get the natural bacteria from animals that are not fed all of these hormones, et cetera. And they're grazing on grass or pasture, which again is radically different. So a lot of this has changed in the last 100 years. And I don't think that we're eating the same as we ever have. All right. Kristen, and it's a good question, Megan, though. Very good question. Kristen's up next. I drink Purity brand coffee per your recommendation. I see they have a decaf option that is decaffeinated with a chemical-free natural water process that removes 99.9% of caffeine and retains the high antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. Do you recommend this decaf option? Thanks. The answer is yes. Easy enough, right? So decaf coffee typically has less than 10 to 13 milligrams of caffeine. It's suitable for most people, even those that don't tolerate caffeine very well. And I use that. So my recommendations, of course, for everything are at stephencabral.com/resources. Those are all my favorite companies. And so that's that. We hope to actually work with them in the future to develop our own blend, but we'll see if that happens because I'm looking to create one that's actually good for the liver, high in antioxidants, and a decaf as well. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And good question, but yes, that's what I use. Swiss water process, organic, tested for mold, etc. All right, Rebecca's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been hearing a lot about artichoke extract for estrogen dominance recently. I've been taking DIM for quite a while, and the one time I tried to get off of it, I started breaking out again. Breakouts equals my main symptom. After over 10 years of trial and error, DIM seems to be the thing that has the most positive effect on my symptoms. I know I'm still missing a piece of the puzzle, and I plan to do more lab testing when I'm able to, but I live in New York. I was wondering if you could compare and contrast a little bit the differences between DIM and artichoke extract, and when you recommend or avoid either of them. Also, since my body is reliant on DIM, I was wondering what this tells me what I can do. I eat well, exercise, get 8 hours of sleep, and don't drink or smoke. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, happy to help with this as well. I don't think that I've actually gone over artichoke extract for estrogen dominance, but I may. I've talked about it many times as a prebiotic. I've talked about its potential help with lowering cholesterol and, all sorts of different things, like even digestion, believe it or not. So they both act in the same way to help remove excess estrogen, right? So that's how they work. So we use DIM and I3C. We use those always in conjunction. The product is called Estrogen Balance. We get fantastic results from it, just like you're talking about right now. The reason why I would say to you is just, again, I'm not giving you medical advice. Keep using DIM because it works for you. The problem is we need to work on the underlying root causal factors. So personally, I would run, if nothing else, I would run the stress, mood, and metabolism test to actually take a look at your estrogen levels. And I would be working on, okay, is it excess cortisol that's causing this production? Is it excess testosterone? What is it? Is it imbalanced blood sugar? Or is it liver-based congestion issues? And for that, you do a 21-day functional medicine detox. So actually, my recommendation to you would be to do the functional medicine detox, the 21-day at stephencabral.com/detox. And then, and again, when I say recommendation, I mean suggestion to look into it. And then after that, if you're using 2 DIM capsules a day, you might try 1 as you're coming off the detox. Oh, am I still getting results with that? Great. So that's how you may look at it. And then also, you may only look to use DIM during your luteal phase, like the second half of your cycle, and then maybe not at all the first half of your cycle. So there's all sorts of different ways to use it, but for sure, in time, you'll be able to find out whether it's through lab testing or keep doing your functional medicine detoxes as to how to lower, or again, maybe your estrogen levels are perfectly fine. You would know that after running the stress, mood, and metabolism test, but you do it during days 19, 20, or 21 of your cycle. But then it literally may be a liver estrogen metabolite issue. And so then we want to work on making sure that you're drinking enough water, having 1 to 2 bowel movements a day, not constipating, getting the bile out, all that, right? So that's what we would work on. All right. Josh is up next. Is it okay to mix collagen and bone broth with daily nutritional support? The answer, it says thanks. Okay, Josh, yes it is. No problem at all. So the majority of the time, the way that I use the advanced collagen support is to literally just put 1 scoop in with a daily nutritional support. Super simple. So I put in the healthy gut support as well. It's easy to do, doesn't change the flavor at all. It actually adds just a little bit of thickness, which I like for the smoothie because I use a lot of water. So I've got my smoothie ends up making 1 liter of water every morning. So I really like that because that's one of the ways that I get hydrated. And I don't use bone broth, but you're more than welcome to. I don't use bone broth because of my history with mast cell activation syndrome, mastocytosis, hives, allergies, sulfur-based issues in my genetics, etc. But again, other people choose to, and no issues at all. So yes, Josh, no problem at all. If anybody has no idea what these products are, you can go to stevencabral.com/shop. You can just type in advanced collagen support. You can type in daily nutritional support. Those are what a lot of people use in our community. All right, on a daily basis. Natasha's up next. Natasha says, hi, Dr. Ball. Thanks so much for doing all that you do. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate you. As an IHP, I tell all my clients to be aware of any products that won't disclose their COAs, which stands for Certificate of Analysis. Unfortunately, I'm in a tough spot with wanting to recommend the daily nutritional support, vitamin C, etc., but not being able to see these certificates of analysis. If you test for all of this, why can it not be disclosed, and any plans to do so in the near future? Thanks so much. Yeah, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people ask us this, and then they yell at us, or they say that we're hiding something or whatever it might be, and I just can't understand that. Like, I don't... People get so negative, and I'm not saying, Natasha, this is you, but I've had, I think it's very unjustly so, but it is what it is. I try not to understand I try not to understand people too much, because everybody has their own perspective and where they're coming from and all that. But it's very interesting because we always share why. It's not a mystery, right? But I understand where you're coming from. So let me just give you an example, and I hope that this makes sense. So, when you look at other functional medicine-based brands, think of Thorne Research, think of Pure Encapsulations, think of like Orthomolecular, think of Integrative Therapeutics. Why don't any of those companies have their certificate of analysis with the products, right? So the very best companies in the world, the ones that do the most research, that have an entire regulatory team like Equilife does, that puts the most research and science into creating a product, not just like one for Amazon, they don't share those, right? So you have to understand is that maybe, again, this isn't just about this. This is the greater picture of life. If you do trust the person and you trust the company, they must have a reason why, right? So let me just share with you the reason why. And you may believe that it's a worthwhile reason or not, but it is the truth. So we have right now over 100 different products at Equilife, just like a lot of these other larger functional medicine companies do. And we do that because we have a very large practice that helps a lot of different people. As you listen to all of these house call questions, you're like, wow, that's a lot of different health issues. And they're correct. And some people are using estrogen balance, like we just spoke about, advanced collagen support. And we make these products because we find that they're the best in class, like patented ingredients, scientifically validated, uses less animal products, like all these different things. And 99% of our products are vegan. So all the vegan-based clients we work with, well, they can now use these products. And so anyway, so let me just share with you. So on any given year, we manufacture our daily nutritional support somewhere between 4 and 8 times, all right? But let's just say that the average product we manufacture, let's just say 4 times a year to make it even simpler. All right, so 4 times a year, and they have a shelf life of 2 years. Now, we manufacture it fresh every 8 to 12 weeks. Now, they're good though for 2 years. And when we look at that, we say, okay, well, what if someone isn't using it for 2 years? We need to keep that certificate of analysis, right? Okay, so now that means we have 4 per year at minimum, over 2 years, so we have 8 for every single product. All right, so now we have 8 certificate of analysis. Now multiply that by 100 plus products. You're looking at 800. So we have anywhere between 800 and 1,000 certificates of analysis for our products. Now, if you have never run a business, the amount of what you would have to be able to keep track of that. You have to, again, this is a complicated business. is when you look at the bottom of a bottle, it has a lot number. So it tells you, oh, this is when this was manufactured, this with this particular lot. Then that would have to match up to a particular certificate of analysis. So on our website, we can't even share a certificate of analysis because now you know if we were to give you a certificate of analysis and it was not to match up with the lot number, 1 of 8 that you may have, right? Or even an expired one if you're using it, and it didn't match up, well, we would then be legally liable. And this goes for every functional medicine-based company. So you have to understand is like, yes, we would like to. That would be great. But how do we keep track of 1,000 different COAs based on lot number and put that on the website? Absolutely impossible. Like, it's just not possible. However, as someone that understands where you're coming from and is trying to innovate in this industry, I don't own the manufacturers, but I'm trying to come up with a very innovative way, I'm not willing to give it away yet, that will actually be able to share that with you. I don't have the ability to do that yet, but am I looking to create that for the industry? Yes, it will be an industry first. And we're hoping to be able to do it maybe over the next 12 months. Don't know if we can, but we're certainly going to try for it. So just keep in mind, we use GMP facilities. They are FDA regulated. We also have NSF certifications for sports. It is the highest level of testing. I could go on and on. We just had a product come in and it's delayed now 8 weeks because one of the ingredients came in that tested high for a certain heavy metal. The entire batch got thrown away. It costs us money and it costs us time. So I hope that's helpful. It's not going to satisfy everyone, and I understand that. So please always simply purchase from the nutritional supplement company that you feel comfortable with. And if that's not Equalife, that's okay as well. Like I'm okay with that. So I want everybody to do the best they can in their life and get the results that they're looking for. That's it. So if I can be helpful, great. If I can't, that's okay as well, right? That's okay. So thanks for writing in with that question. It was a really good question. You know what? We're going to, let's see, how many questions did I answer? I want to answer at least 5 today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. All right, we're going to keep it at that for today. That was a great one. Again, like I don't mind getting asked the hard questions. I don't. And again, I give you my honest answer every single time. And if it works for someone, great, then they feel good about it. And if it doesn't work for someone, that's okay too. But at least I gave them my honest answer of what's really going on. And the thing is, we're always in the up and up. We are setting the standard for high quality products that actually have efficacy behind them and get people results. So that's what it's all about. And that's what being an integrative health practitioner is all about, is not saying no to anything, saying, oh, okay, this works. Okay, how can I use this with what client to get the results that they want? All right, so that's what it's all about. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being a part of this community. Thanks so much. Take care. And I'll be back tomorrow with our Mindset and Motivation Monday, the absolute best way to start the week.